Going back to the story, we're going to talk about.
So branding and story. So helping him build the story.
Okay. So let's talk about, because story is a funny thing when you just kind of hear the term for the first time, because taking story and moving it into business is almost an odd thing to talk about. So I'm going to talk as if you've never heard that term associated with business at all.
Okay.
And then ask any questions as you've got along the way. So every business, every human being is telling a story, like with every interaction that they have. So you have, let's make it a human for a second. You have people who have gone through great adversity in their life and they tell their story as a victim. And you have people who go through great adversity in their life and they tell it as an overcomer, right? Mm-hmm. So your business is going to tell a story too. Luke just gave you a ton of information, and here's how. So I'm going to take some of his stories, actual stories that he did, and I'm going to translate that as a marketer. Okay, so number one, young dude, super driven, 15 years old, getting started, right? 15 years old. That's part of this story is, man, we're helping a young guy who is just going to succeed, and we get to be part of his success story. Part of Luke's story is inviting other people in on that story, and them feeling like, there's a lot of young people out there right now who are doing jack squat, but we got one that we're helping out here who's not.
For me, it was help me buy a car. So I started it running around on a lawnmower with a trailer behind it because I couldn't drive, with the story of, hey, I'm using this to pay for a truck. And so I bought the truck, and all these people, now that I was servicing, were so it almost felt like a win for them.
Yeah.
Because they got I showed up in the truck and they're like, dude, you did it. And I was like,
it's a big deal. They're just as excited as you are.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, 100%. They were. 100% they were.
So go ahead.
Well, and so then it shifted, and he goes, all right, now help me pay for college. And then it shifted again and said, this is how I'm building my life. This is how I'm going to build my life.
But that story works at that age, at that time, with those set of circumstances. How old are you?
18.
Probably doesn't work. That same story doesn't work for you. Because that was one that they felt like they could partner with this young guy. They could cheer him on and that kind of stuff. You don't have that exact same advantage. I'm 36 tomorrow. I don't have that advantage. Nobody gives a freaking rip of like, hey, help me buy a car. Like, they don't give a crap. Buy your own damn car, dude. Right? So they don't care. So okay, no problem. So now let's flip that a little bit. Okay, so we know, I'm going to give you like a very quick lesson in elements of story. There's storytellers tell us that there's 7 types of stories in the world, period. I'm going to give you a couple examples, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Comedy, which just simply, not ha, but just simply means it has a happy ending. Not a lot of deep stuff happens along the way, and it has a happy ending. That's the definition of a comedy. A tragedy, rags to riches, the quest, that'd be like Lord of the Rings. Like, there's something that has to happen, and once that ring hits the fire, we know the story's over, they succeeded. Stuff like that. So we've got all these stories along the way. We need to understand what the elements of stories are. Well, there's also characters in those stories. So you have the main character. Now, Luke was able to tell his business story in such a way where he was the main character. That's unbelievably rare and usually a mistake. It was not a mistake for him. It made perfect sense. He could get people to rally around him and kind of cheer him along on this thing. And Luke told his story as a quest. Help me get a truck. Help me get into college. Help me, you know what I'm saying? So he told his story as a quest. You're not going to be able to do that. You don't have the advantage of telling your story as a quest. So the way that you're going to do this is your main character in your story is going to be every interaction that you have. Your customer's the main character.
Makes sense, yeah.
And you get to be, I'm going to use Lord of the Rings again, for example. Funny thing is, Gandalf's not the main character in the story of Lord of the Rings. Yoda's not the main story in Star Wars. They're the person along the way that help that person reach their goal. Okay. So in the lawn care space, what's your customer's goal?
To have service done, right.
Okay. It's deeper than that, though. So on the last podcast that we did, that we were talking about branding, I gave the example of marketers often say, you're not, so you just told me that we're like, to buy a drill, you're buying a drill. But that's not exactly true. When you're buying a drill, marketers would typically say you're actually buying a hole, right?
Yeah.
You're not buying just a drill. Like who freaking cares? I just literally bought a drill last week because we just moved into a house and I needed to fix some stuff. So I wasn't buying a drill itself. Marketers kind of tell the story of you're buying a hole, but you're not even really buying a hole. You're buying I would take it a step deeper than that. You're buying a shelf to put pictures of your family on. You're buying a door that works that you can.
Yeah.
But it's more than a door that works. It's a door that you can open up and invite the family into. It's a door that opens up and you can go out into the next adventure. That's that side of stuff. So when you're talking through this and you're doing service for somebody and you're telling a story, at the end of the day, these guys have worked incredibly hard to be able to afford the homes that they're in. Most of the people that you're going to be dealing with are going to be homeowners. If they care about their lawn, they're all homeowners, right?
Yeah.
Renters don't give a rip about their lawn. They're sure as heck not going to do landscaping on it.
Yeah, that's true.
So you've got people who have worked incredibly hard to get where they're at, and you're helping them take that dream that they've had and move it to the next level. That's what you're doing. So we have a client that's a roofing client, and one of the ways that we helped them tell their story, because roof's an interesting thing to tell a story about. That's something that's kind of a run of the mill industry to a certain degree. You don't really think much about that. So we tell their story of, hey, you have 3 basic needs in life: food in your belly, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head. And we take that and say, oh my gosh, like we've just turned this company that was kind of blasé, and we've made it a basic need that you have. Figure out in your story how you're going to make this so integral to your client's story that they can't separate you from the completion of that story. Okay? So in all likelihood, it's going to have something to do with the investment that they've made, that they're putting their blood, sweat, tears, their life investing into this home. It's the largest investment most people will ever make. And you're enhancing that. You're making it where when you pull onto that property, there's a wow factor to it. It's worth more because of you. Homes are 15 to 20% more if the landscaping's fantastic.
That's true.
They're worth more. So you're taking their investment and you're enhancing that. That's a direction. I've done no thinking about this beforehand. So this is typically something we like sit down and actually go through an exercise and that kind of stuff to take you through it. But from a 3 minutes of thinking about it, that's kind of the direction that I would take this. So you're not the main character of your story. They are. You're the person who's going to help make their dream of having the best looking yard on the block a reality. And so that's just that kind of story 101, for lack of a better term. I would start thinking like that. Now you may have ideas already of like, oh man, what if we took it from this direction, that kind of stuff. But that means every piece of marketing material that you make echoes that story.
Okay, yeah.
So you're so once you've developed it and you're like, okay, this is what it's going to be. Now the website needs to say, hey, we're making your house, making your yard the best looking yard on the block. Something to that effect. Investing in your investment. That kind of stuff where they know, okay, this is what our goal is. And he's using language that they're not going to say consciously. It's all going to be subconscious for them. But man, he's echoing what we're thinking.
And I mean, this probably goes back to interviewing your client and asking them. I mean, it may even be something along the lines of like going back to dependable, honest, trustworthy. It's from all of the things that at least I know, and that you're going to know here really quickly if you don't already, that there's only really a few things that people want out of lawn care companies. One, they want them to be consistent.
Right.
2, they want them to be trustworthy. They want, like, you're trusting these people to go into your yard, have, locks to your gates and all that,
Man, you talked
codes,
about
all of that kind
not
of stuff.
letting my dog out of the backyard. That was a
you're
big
talking
deal.
about keep making sure that the property is left the way that that it was when you got there, so their gates are always shut, their dogs don't get out. You're talking about billing them on time because they hate being billed and not knowing what the bill is or when they're going to get a bill. You're talking about, consistently showing up same day every week. You're talking about having guys that are clearly marked so that when you show up, they're not like, who's this showing up to my house? Like, we painted all of our trucks lime green. So when they would show up, they would be like, oh, there's Luke's guys on the street over. They're coming to us next. You would see our truck, and not even knowing that it's our truck, you would automatically associate, like, oh, there's Luke. And so then our guys would show up in lime green shirts, and everybody had to show up in a shirt, so that as soon as they stepped foot on the property, they knew from the second that happened that, oh, Luke's guys were here to mow.
But even that is that translates into story in and of itself, because they're telling themselves a story of being able to, one day I'm going to be able to afford this. And somebody walking on, you got a team of guys walking onto your property, all looking proper, pulling up in a proper truck, that kind of stuff. That in and of themselves, the first time they look out the window and that happens, they've checked the checkbox of achievement at that point.
And at that point, you do get a little bit of a status deal, because a lot of other guys aren't doing that stuff. And so as soon as you show up with stuff that looks one step higher than the next guy, you almost associate that with like, they're going to be more.
You're selling two experiences. You're selling the finished product and then walking out and being like, yes.
Yeah.
And you're selling the status symbol of, I could do this. Like I've reached a place in life where I got a crew of people out here working for me. Seriously. So you're selling both of those stories along the way. Both of them are hits of dopamine. There's more of a hit of dopamine with you showing up initially, by the way, than there will be with the finished product, as crazy as that sounds. So make the showing up an experience too. Like that's exactly what he just described. That none of that, a lime green truck and lime green shirts were not a finished product. They were anticipation of a finished product.
Yeah.
The showing up itself was an experience. And all of that is part of the way that you tell your story. So them being able to hire you as a status symbol, that's a pretty cool, that's an honor, actually. Not very few businesses is that the case. You walk into the right hotel, that can be the case, and the car that you drive off the lot and the neighborhood that you pull into. Other than that, very few service people that you hire is it a status symbol to be able to do that.
Yep.
So know that about yourself and act accordingly.
Yeah.
And I would say niche down to really figure out who your client is, because if you try to service everybody, you're gonna miss all of them. In the standpoint of, if you're gonna build, which in my opinion, the concierge lawn care service is really the better play to
Totally
make.
agree.
Because if you're just trying to be the mow it, blow it guy, which we had a lot of that, but you just missed the mark, because those people don't care how you show up.
Here's why. You're competing with everybody if you're the mow it and blow it guy. If you're the concierge guy, you're competing with two other companies.
Yeah.
So it's the question becomes, how much competition do I want to have? Nobody wants to have the most competition. That's a silly thing.
Yeah.
Would you rather mow 200 yards or would you rather mow 100? You know what I'm saying? Because you could charge more
for the same money.
Mm-hmm. For the same money. You can charge more and mow 100 yards and make the same amount of money, or you can charge less and mow 200 yards and they don't really care. They just want you to show up, cut the grass, and get out and go.
Some of this information is going to be, okay, I can apply this a year from now. I can't apply it right now.
No.
Right now, I got to take everything that goes my way, and I'm excited about it, and awesome. But
think about this as you're doing that.
In like the long run.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You have to think about what's my end game, because it's really easy coming from the fact that I ran this from freshman year to senior year, and it was this business, because when I woke up senior year, I go, I don't want to do this anymore.
Let me talk about the niche down thing for 2 seconds, and then I'll let you leave him with any closing thoughts that you have, okay?
Okay.
So the niche down thing is interesting, because really what we're talking about in this situation is not, you can niche down in a couple of ways. You can niche down in services and say, I only do this. So actually in our line of work and marketing, that's how you niche down, is say, okay, we don't do everything. We do this, but we do this really freaking well. You can also niche down when it comes to the type of people that you're trying to serve. So you can say, I'm not servicing all of Collin County. Saying I'm serving McKinney instead of all of Collin County is niching down. Saying I service these neighborhoods is niching down. Saying that I don't do projects that are less than this amount is niching down. All of this plays a role in the story that you're telling, and all of this helps you craft the type of client that you're trying to serve. Okay, so what I would do, I'm gonna give you a little bit of homework today, and Luke's given you a ton already, but off the stuff that you've given him. But my homework for you would be this: I would go home and I would write a bio of the person in your head that you want to serve. So this person lives on this size lots. This person makes this amount a year. And be feasible. You know, it doesn't. The answer probably shouldn't be 50 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and all I have to do is mow his lawn because he has 1,000 acres, and so that's my only job. It's amazing. I'd make it feasible, but at the same time, you know, reachable, but at the same time where you actually have to reach for it. Don't make it low hanging on this, okay? And it's okay that you have to take 2 or 3 steps to get there. So I would write out that profile. I'd write even personality traits. Like, hey, this is a person who's going to if something didn't go right, they're going to call. They're not just going to get upset and passive aggressive and not tell me. Because even that desire, you'll start building a culture where calling you is okay. I've had people that in other industries that served in such a way that I knew if I called them right now and tell them something was wrong, it's just going to be more of a nightmare. I'm just going to freaking deal with it. And I've had ones that's like, man, they want me to call. I want to be that person, by the way. When I'm serving clients, I want to be the client that, oh man, I wish you'd worded it like this. I wish the copy of my ad said this. Great. So I try to build a culture where people know they can call me. And as a result, we keep clients for a long time because they know we're super open to feedback. Are you kidding me? We want to serve you. That's all we're trying to do here is make you happy. So be that. And as you're writing this bio out of this fictitious person, but that's the target person, you can build a culture that person's going to fit into as well. So you start you know, lime green shirts and trucks that all have, you know, that have decals on them and are custom painted and that kind of stuff makes no sense in a lot of neighborhoods. And it makes really good sense in a lot of other neighborhoods. So once you have that bio of this is the person we want to serve, build everything towards that. Everything, every marketing dollar goes towards that person. Every business decision that you make says, am I serving this person better? And take a look at that bio every 6 months or so because it might change a little bit, and that's okay. That's good. It focuses you that much more.
Yep.
All right. Passing thoughts or ending thoughts.
I mean, dude, I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a fun road. I would say don't get discouraged. I said there's every time I've come up against a roadblock, it's only helped me prepare for the next roadblock, which was even bigger than the one before. And so I would just have patience with it, you know. Congrats. This is a huge step. Don't let anybody talk down on you or something like that for not, you know, going the traditional 4-year plan, whatever. But know that we're here. If you need something, you know where to find us. But
Appreciate it, yeah.
Right
go
here.
Crush it.
Doing this podcast.
Crush it. We're excited for you.
Thanks for having me over here and answering some questions.
Yeah.
Great.
For sure. All right, guys. We just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this long podcast. We're going to break this into 2 episodes, I think, because it's an hour and 18 minutes. But if you enjoyed this content, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Till next week.